What's up, Gene?
What's up, man?
How's it going?
Long time no see.
I know it's been another hot minute.
It's been a minute. Like 45.
So let's talk about what we've done. I've got a bunch of track days I can talk about.
Yeah.
We can talk about oil changes.
I can talk about the oil change we just did, and that's all I can talk about.
So in full transparency, we're doing a double episode.
Yeah.
Because Gene was traveling and busy, and I had some stuff at work, and so our things just kind of crossed. So we're kind of doubling up here on the sessions, but that's okay. Well, I'll go ahead and start then. I'll talk about some stuff, and then I've had 3 track days since the last time we talked. ORP, which you missed out on.
I missed out on all 3 of them.
You missed.
So let's just go ahead and throw that out there now. I missed out on all 3 of them.
True.
I suck. I really do.
We had ORP, and then we had 2. I had 2 at the Ridge. ORP, for the comment that I don't give enough detail. ORP is Oregon Raceway Park, which is in, was it like Central Oregon?
Yeah.
Like North Central Oregon?
Yeah.
So it's like maybe 40, maybe half an hour south of Columbia River. We did that track, and then 2 at the Ridge. We'll start with ORP. Phenomenal weather. Just, oh my gosh.
Pictures were amazing.
It's so pretty. I mean, when we were there in June, was it June the last time we were there? I think it was in June.
You and I were there in April.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So I've been back. You didn't go to the last one.
You and John and Rob went.
John and Rob. Yeah.
Roy.
And Travis.
Oh, Travis. Yeah.
Travis. That was in June. Mm-hmm. And it was a bit chilly, even in June.
That surprises me.
I know it was. But this time was super nice. Like, I took all these blankets and heater. I slept in a short sleeve shirt. It was so warm.
Did everyone sleep? Did everyone have? Did they sleep in the trailer with you, or did they have their own thing?
No. I had my own.
You never let that happen again.
That's not happening again.
I've ruined you.
Yeah. So, well, this time it was only John.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this time it was only John. So he stayed at the hotel. I got down there the night before. The next day we got up, and so John showed up. They were running. How did we run with you?
We went
Counter?
Counterclockwise, correct?
Okay, so we're running counter again. That's right,
Okay.
because every time we came to your corner on the PDR, I'm like, I'm at Gene's corner.
That's hurtful.
It was
That
great.
is hurtful. That has got a quasi, Gene's name to it.
It was great.
Man.
I know. I'm like, I really should save all this video stuff so I could play it for Gene so he could hear me talk about him. in
Wait,
this corner.
you're saying that out loud while you're in the car?
Yeah, I'm out loud
Oh, you
saying
really
it.
suck.
I would go
I
around.
thought you just like,
No, I'm
thinking
out-
to yourself. You're like,
No.
you said, Gene's corner.
No, I'm out loud saying it so I could record it.
Oh, it's just mean.
I know.
That's just mean spirited, man.
No, it's all in
I
jest.
love it though.
I'm like, oh, here's Gene's corner. Oh, I go to the right here.
Oh,
So it was great weather. They had 3. So when we went, it was open session. This time was run groups.
okay.
So John was in. He didn't run in my set. So he ran in intermediate.
That was his first time going, right? Oh no, second time.
It was the second time, but first
Yeah.
time counter.
Right.
Last time he was in clockwise. So John's like, I don't feel comfortable going counterclockwise in the advanced group. So he stepped down into the intermediate. So which is good because I could watch, and I was actually giving him pointers about, hey, you're going into this turn. You really should think about doing this. So I gave him some pointers. And there were only I think there was 10 people in the advanced group.
That's it.
Oh, man, it was so awesome.
That would have been a great track day then.
It was a perfect.
Oh, good Lord, man.
Weather was like mid 70s, perfect temperature, only 10 people in the group. I think I got 7 laps before I even got caught up to someone. Phenomenal. I just had open track.
So you can just get in your groove, man.
I just got in. I just focused on what I was doing. Is really, really good. I did some good lap times. I don't remember the times off the top of my head, but they were faster than I was going clockwise last time.
Okay.
When we did clockwise, my times were better than counter, but now I just beat the clockwise. So I was pushing pretty good. the very last session, John moved into my group. And so he wanted to follow. So we did a lead follow. And that was great because I set even faster time because John was behind me because
He was pushing you.
you push, right? Anytime you follow somebody, it's better for the person following, but can be also good for the person leading because I want to do better, right? Because I got someone on my butt. And it was great because John was like right. I mean, he's literally, you look in the rearview mirror and I don't see his headlights. He's that close. So it was fun. We had
Full send John, man.
full send. And it was
send.
great to have someone that close. And we just went out and knocked
And
out.
someone
like,
you trusted that you know.
yeah, I know he's not gonna screw something up.
Exactly
and,
right.
So it was great. We got like solid 8-10 laps, just nonstop, voo, 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 and it was great.
Yeah.
Met a new guy down there. I don't remember his name. I've got his name written down. He was driving a Camaro. He was in the advanced group too.
Like a modded SS or like a
it
ZL1?
was a standard. It wasn't the 1LE. It was just a ZL1, but not the 1LE. He's new to tracking. Like I think that was his like third time maybe. So he's in just north of Tri-Cities. I took his number. He's like, hey, let me know when you guys are going tracking again. I'd love to connect. That was cool. Connected with him. Great track day. Finished up. Took the drive home. No drama. All good. Then we had ORP, I think 2 days later. The Ridge was like 2 days later. So I just left the car in the trailer. Didn't even unload it. It's all covered in bug guts and everything. It still is, actually. Haven't washed it yet. And we go to ORP. Great day, like great weather, just awesome. And I was the only one there.
At the Ridge?
At the Ridge.
Yeah.
Kelly and Marjorie.
Oh, yeah. Kelly Marjorie
Earl, that's it. Yes. They were there with their Black Wings.
I love seeing that, by the way. That is so cool.
It is.
Husband and wife team,
I
both
know.
driving their own cars, on the track doing it, retirees. That's just so freaking cool.
It is really awesome. And it was cool to hang out with them. And then I would like get some video of them on the track. And then I would like get pictures of them down pit road because we're in different classes. And she came up to me. She's like, last session, I beat him.
Kelly, bro. Seriously?
Oh, that was awesome.
You need to fix that.
That is so cool to see
Yeah, it
them out
is.
there.
That's great. That's
That was
great.
That was really good. So I was out there and I didn't know anybody out there. So I was just focused on what I was doing. As you know, my goal this whole year is to break 150. That's been my whole goal. I broke it. So I finally got 149 and I was yelling on the PDR when I came across and the Garmin showed 149. It was like 149.50, just a hair under.
But it's 149.
But I was yelling. I'm
Yes.
like, so I know it got recorded. I was super excited. And whatever, I forgot, first or second session out, I got that. So that was good. I've been working on some different lines for one, because one
Is it, man.
is where I can save, Garmin says at least half a second, and then turn 16, I can get another quarter second, and then up at the carousel, another. So I know I can always get it, but that's where I've been focused. So I got 149, come back in, I'm setting my stuff, and I went back out, and I'm trying to push hard. I want to push harder because I want to stay at that one, because Garmin keeps saying I can do a 147. So I know I've got more in.
So your optimal lap.
My optimal lap is a
147.
147.11. So
That's good.
that's good. So
Because that's your optimal lap based on what you've already done.
what I've already done,
So
if I
which
put them
means
all together,
there could be a 146 in there.
potentially, I would need more gumption through one.
Yes.
I would need way more,
A lot
more gumption.
A
So
lot of gumption.
I go out, and I'm not looking at the Garmin, so I can't tell you now. In 2 more sessions, I clock 148. So I went 149, 148 something, and then the next one I went 148, 3 or 2 low 148s. I consistently broke the 150. So it's not
Yeah.
like I barely trickled and then I went
One
back
time,
up.
yeah.
I did 3 sessions under 150.
Well, it's
So
like for me, the 158 I did in my car once. 159, more than a few times. 201s all the time.
yeah,
so-
you could definitely hit 150s. No, I mean,
Yeah. when if I was out there on the track and there was nobody out there, or very like I did that, by the way, on a Flying Husky racing track day, because there was hardly any cars
Nobody
out there.
there.
So maybe 4 cars on the track. There was times I'd do 10 laps and nobody would come near me.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful. You get in that groove and everything's just moving, and you set really fast lap times.
Yep.
But on the other track days where there's a lot of cars,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
not even
it's
bother
tough.
trying.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I know. It's especially like a Track Night in America. Like that's just really not impossible. It's impossible.
No, that's just about having fun and who cares.
That is.
what
That's just
times.
about getting some more seat time
Yep,
and
that's it.
trying to work on specific lines because you're not going to set any records on a Track Night in America day.
No.
I left that day super excited. Like I'm really jazzed now that I've consistently hit that. So then we had the Track Night in America. That was the next one. That was like 3 days later. So again, I left the car in the trailer. It never got out of the trailer. We went back there, and so it was me. I think Rob was there. Maybe Rob didn't show up. John was there. No, Rob didn't, because it was me, John, and David. David showed up in his Lambo.
Oh, the Evo, or not the Evo,
No,
the
STO.
STO, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, STO and Evo are about the same thing.
Yeah.
So he showed up. That thing looks so, man, in person.
I know. Oh my God, I know, bro. Listen, David, you are goals. Just so you know, if you're even listening, your goals, brother. We're living vicariously through you. With your F8, your Turbo S,
know.
and then the Evo, and then he got another one on order now.
He does.
Which one is that?
He has the Pura Sangwe.
Sangway. So not a track car,
But he also
still a
has
beautiful
another
car.
one on order, a 296.
Oh, he got a GTB, my man.
296.
Ooh, that's a fast car too.
And the Timor, what's that? What's the new Lambo?
Oh, the Huracan replacement, Temerario or something like that.
that
yeah,
one too.
I did see him say that.
I'm like, okay. So it was just me, John, and David were there. Oh, and Ben,
In the white CCS,
the Carbon Flash,
Oh, the black C25E.
the CT5 Carbon
that
Flash.
thing is
He was
beautiful.
there. So I show up to that, and I was running late getting there. For some reason, I thought it started an hour later, and so when I left here to go, I was running late, and I was concerned, was I actually going to get there in time for the first session? I was like super close. So I pull in. John is already kind of standing in the area. He's waiting for me. And he's like, hey, park right here. And he moved his car out of the area for me. So he moved the car so I could back the trailer in. So I backed the trailer in, and I mean, I'm running to unbuckle, unshackle the car and all this stuff. And the guy, I ran in to sign up, fill up paperwork, ran back to the car, undoing the car, and the guy's like, driver's meeting, everyone, like he made a point saying, everyone needs to be here. I don't care if you've done this a million times, you need to be here. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I run over there, and I'm like tapping my foot, come on. He gets done the spiel, and then he hands it over to Kirk, the photographer guy.
Yeah, Kirk, yeah.
So then I'm like, I don't need pictures. I'm running back. So I get the car unloaded, and I literally unload the car, put the helmet on, and they're already lining up to go out. So super close. So we're an advanced group, but there's like 12, 15 cars, a lot of cars. So you're not going to get any lap times, which is that's totally fine.
You need what, mid 50s, something like that.
I was consistently hitting 151.
Oh, that's not bad then.
I hit a couple of 150s, but I got one lap, and then I was hitting cars. So
yeah.
the tires weren't even warmed up by the time I was hitting cars. So I was happy with 151s in traffic. I was pretty happy with that.
Well, look, so I just looked this thing up because I wanted to see. Here's just a couple random things. So the Porsche GT3 RS running a 142.4. So
man.
the Z06 doing a 148, that is ridiculous. I mean,
Pretty solid.
When you size it, though. The GT3 RS, that's what it's designed for.
Oh, yeah.
And then a Porsche Cayman 144.4.
Okay.
148 is smoking.
I know for a fact there's another 1 to 2 seconds. Like
Sure.
I said, I can get, if Garmin says I've done all the things I could piece together to 147, I'm sure I could get to 146. The turn one, though, it's just something I've got to work on.
I don't know if so the gumption around turn one, for those of you who don't know, but the turn one is at the end of the straightaway. at the straightaway, you're doing what, 160?
I'm 150.
150? Okay.
I can hit 155, but I'm changing my approach, and so I'm not hitting the brakes as hard, so I'm not going into
So you're
it
not
as
over
fast.
slowing into turn one.
Correct,
That's
correct.
what I end up doing. The turn one, once you hit that, there are cars that'll take that 110 miles an hour, like the Porsches.
Yeah.
They'll take it 110 miles an hour. They got so much downforce.
know.
That lowered suspension. I'll bet you could too.
Probably.
Maybe 105. And
If John would let me borrow his car, I'd try it.
you know how John is. Never letting people borrow his car. I'll bet you could do that. But yeah, that turn one is really touchy. You could take it real fast, but then as soon as you hit turn one, you're almost immediately on the brakes.
See, that's
hard because
I
you got
could
turn
go
two.
faster turn one. It's the turn two that I'm worried about. Getting the car stopped on track
Yes.
to make turn two.
Turn two is maybe it's less than 1/8 of a mile away.
Oh yeah,
Right?
it's super quick.
It's really quick.
It's really quick.
If you're not hitting the right line and your car isn't straight, like if you're still turning into turn one and you're over and you got too much speed, and you nail the brakes, you're going to spin. I've seen it. We've seen plenty of cars spin
we've
that.
seen. Well, there was a guy there that was. Oh man, there's another. I just remembered. There's another track that John and I went to. Another one than the track down in America. I forgot about that one. So that means I've had 4 track days that you haven't been to since the last time.
You know what? I don't want to talk
So,
to you anymore. I don't know.
I'll tell you about that one in a second. So let me finish the track night in America. So we go out, we do our laps. Okay, we come back where I unloaded my trailer.
Oh yes, I know this.
I come back, and there is a car just parked directly behind my trailer where you would unload. And I keep the ramp. You know, when I unload the car, I keep the ramp down so people know, hey, don't park there. So I can park my car there. When I leave, I can just load it up. But there's a car parked right there. And so I'm like, okay.
It's a very rare car too. Well, okay. It's a rare car for a track day.
It is. But it's a cool, that car, I've been to a lot of autocross. That car smokes me.
Really?
I mean, obviously a lot has to do with the driver. The driver's been doing it for a long time, but in that car, that dude was whipping around the track. Very impressive. Anyway, this guy that was at the track was not whipping. He was in the novice class. I parked my car off to the side and I go up and I'm like, hey, would you mind moving your car because you're like parked right behind my trailer and I like to park there so that people just don't block that. So when I get ready to leave, I can just pull into the trailer. And he's like, I was here before anybody else pulled into the parking lot. This is my spot. Honestly, I was a bit caught off guard because I thought he was joking at first. So I kind of chuckled, but he wasn't joking. He was like, he said that and I kind of chuckled and I could see the way he reacted that he wasn't joking. He was dead serious. So I'm like, hey, no problem. I get it. I unloaded my trailer and you didn't have a car here. I see your stuff, but I assume that you're parking on the other side. So would you mind just parking one car over right beside your stuff? You don't have to move your stuff. Just move your car over. He's like, no, I can't do that because there's another car there. So then he would have to move his car too. So I'm like, okay. And he was getting a little bit irritated. So I'm like, hey, no problem. I just backed off. Hey, no big deal. I'll just park somewhere else. Not a big deal to me. I don't really care. I just didn't want him to be in the way when I need to leave so that it's not a problem. He didn't say anything to me the rest of the night. It's totally fine. We come off the track for the last session. Oh, you know the guy. I'll tell you the car later. A guy comes off the track. So I pull off and I want to go tell that individual with the car parked by my trailer, ask him if he could move it so I could load my car up. So I park my car and I get out to go tell him, and another car comes off the track. He's like, "Hey, bro, your braking spots are terrible." I'm like, "What?" He's like,
He says this to you?
he says this to me. He's in the car, and he's telling this to me. I'm out of my car. I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, your braking, where you brake, you're terrible. You need to work on your braking." And I'm like, "Okay, I appreciate it. There's always things I can work on." And he's like, "Oh no, when I was following you, you're just terrible. You need to work on that." So I'm like, "Hey, appreciate it. Thank you." You know, I said, today, you know, I'm running low 150s, 151, 152 in traffic. I'm pretty happy, but you're right. There's things I can improve on, so I appreciate it. And he just said it again. So I'm like, hey, no problem. Thank you. So then he left. Okay. So then I go tell the other guy, hey, can you move it? He moved his car. He said, okay, no problem. He moved his car and I could get the car loaded up. He did come back to me later and he said, hey, I just want to apologize. I came across a bit strong. I got here first. And then when I came back, because I was on track for novice, they do like sight laps.
Yep.
They do sight laps. He's like, when I came back, you were in my parking place. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't know. I had no idea. I assumed that you were on the other side. And so he said, hey, I apologize. I see how that happened. So I didn't want to come
That's
across.
nice of him.
It was super nice of him. So we ended on a really good note.
That's
So
good.
I was super happy with that.
You made a friend.
Yeah, I made a friend. Then we had the other track event at the Ridge, which is also at the Ridge with On Grid. So John and I did On Grid, and it was just him and I. Nobody else. No one else was there. Oh, Ben showed up the next day. He spent the night in Olympia, and he came out the next day to watch us. So we go back out there. We end up talking to this guy who had a S2000. He was running Time Attack. Dude, okay, I'm doing Time Attack next year.
Really?
We need to look at doing Time Attack. That was so cool. So the way they run Friday and Saturday is a 2-day event. Friday is that they have regular HPDE sessions,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 or ABC groups. But then they also have 3 Time Attack sessions mixed in. So instead of having every 3, there's 4 groups: ABC, Time Attack, ABC, Time Attack, and then and then another Time Attack. Then they get to run in the advanced group for like their last session. So they still get the same number of sessions as we do, but they have a Time Attack. And there was only about 8 people in the Time Attack. So 8 people for the entire track, and they're all fast drivers. Because I think you have to run. Oh, they have different classes. So the one that there's a Time Attack A and B. So there's actually 5 run groups, not just 4. There was 5. Time Attack was really cool. They just send them out. They all line them up really cool at an angle on the grid. So you know how we normally line up.
Yeah.
They have them outside the wall, and they're all angled. Like you would see, like in a lineup for a paddock race.
Yeah.
So they kind of give them special treatment, and they get special banners that go across the windshield and other type of stuff. So they kind of treat them kind of nice. Then they send them out, and they're doing hot laps, and then
So they get like one warm up lap, and then the next is a hot lap.
yeah. Then they're full send, and then if you're like on a cool down and you're not trying to set a fast lap, they'll just pull off the side, and then you just blitz right by them, and then you pull back in your line and go. Really, I definitely want to do that.
So they got to really know where the racing line is.
Oh yeah.
So that you can pull off to the opposite side of it, so they know that.
And these are all really good drivers.
What was the fastest time you saw?
I didn't even look at the leaderboard, but they were moving really quick. We talked to. There was one girl who was walking around just kind of talking. She was the girlfriend of her boyfriend was out there driving, and they were from Spokane. They came all the way from Spokane.
Wow.
This guy was on a prepped up S2000. I forgot their names now. I apologize. But he's on S2000. He was running, I don't know what horsepower the S2000 has. It's probably not more than 300. Probably not, right? I don't know, S2000.
Yeah, but you can mod those up pretty heavily.
I don't think his engine was modded. He had different tires and wheels set up on it, and you can see they're cambered. I don't think the engine, if it wasn't much.
Was he running a ton of downforce though?
Yeah, he had a big wing.
Yeah.
Definitely had a big wing. He had a front splitter. This guy going down the straightaway, because I went up on the overpass to watch him, he never let off the throttle until he crossed the apex of turn 1. Never let off the throttle.
Wow.
So I'm asking him, so after we got, because we got to know her, because she was just walking around talking to different people. And then at one point, John and I went over and we're all just talking. And I'm like, hey, I saw you on the straightaway. Like, what are you getting on the straightaway? He's like, about 120, 125. Okay. I didn't see your brake lights, and I didn't hear the engine go down until after turn 1. He's like, yeah, I'm full throttle all the way through turn 1. So that means he's hitting it somewhere in the 120.
120 range.
And I was like,
That's insanity.
holy cow. So
Because he's got to let off the throttle and instantly nail the brakes.
Oh, yeah, and you could
he's
tell
got to
it.
be a perfectly straight line too.
yeah, you could tell as soon as he went past the apex, the engine cut and then brake. You could tell that he was doing it hard. But he had downforce, obviously,
Yeah,
that was keeping him.
it's a downforce car.
So he's not like drifting out.
Wow.
Smaller car, lightweight car, right? So he can do that. I'm like, what kind of lap times are you doing? He's like, 151. I'm like, holy cow. He's hitting 151. Now, he had open track. He's not dealing with traffic.
Yeah, yeah.
But my fastest, I'm only 3 seconds away
Could
from
you
him.
imagine if you had the taller
with
rear wing in your car
big
and
downforce
a big splitter
and
in
tires.
the front?
I-
Oh yeah, you need
he
stickies.
had slicks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
running slicks. Mm.
yeah, that makes a big difference, right?
big difference.
So downforce and tires. The fact that he was going through that turn, so I was watching all. He was in the fast group of Time Attack. Every single one of those guys. Well, there was a couple in the back that would put on the brakes sooner. The top front guys, nope, they don't let off, man. They're full send through turn one.
All right, so let's plan on doing that next year sometime.
We definitely have to do Time
Yeah.
Attack. That
That'd
looks
be a lot
so
of
much
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
That looked like a blast. Yeah. Okay, so those were all my track stuff. Only
It's great stuff, man. Good stories. Man.
yeah, good. It was a blast. It sucked not having you there. Man, that was 4 track days that you didn't
Dude, you hurt my
participate.
heart, bro. Hurt my heart.
And we got one tomorrow. Well, we'll talk about it next
I
time.
don't.
But we have one tomorrow that you also won't be at.
Nope.
Hopefully,
Hopefully,
there might be one more I might do in 2 weeks
where?
here.
Oh, okay.
Depending on weather. I'm not going out in bad weather. I don't
I've
really
done
have
that.
desire. But if it's decent weather, I'm going to do that, and that'll be my last one of the year.
The good thing about driving in bad weather, at least in rain, is you do learn how to drive the car.
You do.
You really do learn how to drive it. You're not going for top speed. You're going for safe. This apex of, or this intersection rather, of safe but also fast, and learning the car. So,
Yeah.
all right. So here's a question for you. Here's my question. Here's a hypothetical scenario. I'm going to say we're going to go do a long week and a half long cruise. We're going to cruise the country.
Okay.
We're going to start somewhere on the East Coast.
Oh, East Coast.
And we're going to meander our way all the way back here to the Pacific Northwest. What are the spots that you'd want to hit? What are the, it could be automotive related. It could just be family. It could be geography. I mean, it could be historical things. Like, how would you, if you had like 6 months to plan the perfect cruise from the East Coast to the West for, say, a week and a half?
So you're making a big assumption that I know all the wonderful places in the U.S.
I'm making an assumption you know a few, and I'll fill in the blanks and add color commentary.
There's definitely gaps that I don't know. So I honestly would have no idea. I would have to look up options in that area to kind of figure it out. A couple things I definitely want to hit.
But first, where would you start?
Where would I start?
Like Watkins Glen or Miami or DC?
Yeah, not down in Florida. There's nothing in Florida. It's all flat. I don't really have. Yeah. There's no desire.
I'm sorry, Floridians. I'm a Floridian too, but
I would say probably either somewhere up in the hills of Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Or in the hills of North Carolina, Tennessee. So, you got the Tell the Dragon right now.
I'm thinking I'd start Tell the Dragon first.
One of those two places. So I would probably, I've got family in actually both locations, but I'd probably default more toward the Tell. My dad has done that, I don't know how many times, a whole bunch of times.
Tell the Dragon?
Tell the Dragon.
Okay.
In that car that's up there on the list.
The Nismo?
Yeah, the Nismo. He's done it in that car. And he's got pictures, they've got photographers that set up there and they'll send you pictures and you can pay for them. So he showed me pictures of him in that car on the Tell.
That's too cool.
So that I would love to go do that. So that was definitely a big bucket list. And there are so many roads that are way less traveled that are just as good. They don't have all the consistent twists and turns, but driving through the mountains in that area, mind-boggling, just amazing. So start there and kind of meander through, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, North Georgia, that area. Maybe hit Bowling Green. Okay, so hit Bowling Green so you can go there
Yeah.
and check that off the list because that'd be kind of cool to see the museum. Never been there. That would be really cool. Take a
Forget-
tour around the
If
area.
you can be in that area, for me, I'd like to put the car. I want to get the picture of like the Blackwing right in front of the Grand Ole Opry. I think that'd be kind of a neat because my car's blue.
Yep.
And I think that's the juxtaposition of this old, historic building that's seen so much great music and history
Yep.
with this new modern car. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And I love Nashville.
Yeah, I've been to
Nashville's
Nashville.
cool.
Well, we went to that trip. Cheryl and I did that trip 2 years ago. We won that trip. I've been there 2 or 3 times. It's a nice area. I like Nashville. They've got good food there too. So then I've got kind of a gap from that area, Tennessee, Kentucky area, probably up until you get to Colorado, like that whole middle part of the country. I've driven through there 3 times. I've done cross country 3 times. I think I've talked about that before. I talked about getting stuck in Wyoming. I know there's stuff to do out in that middle part. I'd like to go to Missouri.
Well, hold on. You said Orlando. You said Colorado, Pikes Peak. I'd love.
So before you get to Pikes Peak, though, Missouri is before that.
Yep.
I would want to hit Missouri because that's where I spent several years of my life. My dad was stationed there, St. Louis. So I want to go back there just to see what it changed. I talked about the story about me pushing the motorcycle.
Oh, yes.
I'd love to go back and see how that area has changed in the last 30 years. That'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool to see that.
Yeah.
But then I really don't know anything. You got the whole Midwest area, which I'm sure there's some good areas and historical things to see. I don't know. Then as we move toward Colorado, there's some great things. Pike Peaks I would love to be able to drive up that. I don't really have the desire to do Pikes Peak, the race.
I do. I do. Oddly
you?
enough, I do. I
The
really
race?
do. Yeah. Yeah. I do.
Okay. I mean, I'm all about adrenaline, but man, there's some drop-offs. I mean, you watch Hoonigan, man, that dude had his back tire off, right?
Well, yeah, that's at the Subaru. I think it's called Subaru Corner, where that Subaru a number of years ago, just you see it barreling off into over. The guy was fine though, by the way.
Testament to how well they built.
Yeah.
Maybe if I got there, I might be jazzed up with all the adrenaline and like all the energy around there, but I definitely would like to do that. But then there are so many drives through Colorado in the mountains, the Rockies. Holy cow.
Yeah.
There's just a whole litany of different drives. Beartooth Highway is a super famous drive, I think Colorado to Wyoming. Mm-hmm. Super famous. You go all the way up to 11,000 feet, super high up. Everyday Driver, they just did a drive in September. This is in September. It snowed on them going up to
Really?
and this is September. I would like to do a whole bunch of drives to Colorado.
Yep.
Go into Utah, continue. There's lots of drives through Utah. I mean, just Moab. I know it's a different type of driving, but the scenery through the area is just like super breathtaking. Continue on down into SoCal and then hitting PCH.
Yeah.
And then 101 all the way up. Those are I would love to take time and hit, and there's probably all kind of stuff in between there that you could probably honestly take 3 weeks and just
Easy.
hit all kind of famous sites that are through there.
Yeah.
I know I've left off lots of places. South Dakota, Black Hills, there's some good areas through there. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, those are some ones I definitely want to check off the bucket list at some point.
So I'm with you on starting off in North Carolina. Couple reasons. One, I would want to tour some of the NASCAR facilities there because
they're all there.
They're all there. I'd love to do if I could do like a track day at like the ZMAX in Charlottesville. I would look at it from 2 different standpoints. I would want to hit as many automotive things as I could. Track days around the country. I try to figure out where the track days are. Try to hit track days around the country, as well as historic places. So I would like to do ZMAX Dragway. It's the 4, ZMAX is?
No.
So ZMAX Dragway's got, instead of 2 lanes, it has 4. So they have 4 top fuel funny cars.
I've never
top
seen.
fuel. Oh, it's crazy.
Wow.
And and
They do 4 cars at one time?
4 cars at one time. Think about it. 40 plus thousand horsepower on the line at the same time, all 4 going.
And this is in North Carolina?
Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Wow.
So there's lots of historical stuff there, a NASCAR, whatever. I'd love to go see that stuff. Certainly Tail of the Dragon, for sure. And as you're heading out, I would want to go probably like by Road Atlanta, try to do a track day down there, kind of making my way into, up back into like
You go back and see my mom
I
right beside Road
say hi to
Atlanta.
moms, right? So what's up, mom? Hi, moms. Up in the Tennessee area, certainly. I like your idea about Kentucky or at the Corvette Museum. That'd be a lot of fun. And there's a track day.
There is.
Right outside. So I'd
yep.
find a way to do that one. I'd like to go do, again, Nashville. I want to go to Loveless Cafe in Nashville.
To what cafe?
Loveless Cafe. We went there back in 2013.
I wonder if I went there.
And it is the kids still talk about some of the best meal they ever had was at the Loveless Cafe. It was like it's like grandma's cooking. I had some fried chicken. It was like my grandmother made it. It was amazing. And they do all these little buildings outside the main building. It's like a house with all these little buildings right outside it, and all kinds of Christmas stuff and decorations and things you could buy. It was so
Okay, yeah, I haven't been there. So.
yeah, it's so cool. So also they get the Gaylord Opry down there, which is massive. Yeah, so
Yep.
I'd like to go out there. I wouldn't mind going to. I don't know if it's in Indiana. Maybe it's in Indiana. Summit Raceway Park. Pretty big drag racing event. I like to go out there. And if you're going to be up there, we'll see some folks that we know in Detroit.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of making my way down. I like the Black Hills idea. So now we're just coming back down this way, almost vertically down.
Yeah.
Coming down into, I do want to do Pikes Peak for sure. It's some great driving out there. I kind of want to do Route 66, to do some of Route 66. I know it's not like what it used to be, clearly, but to say, check the box, my car's been on Route 66.
I would love to be on it, but I don't want to do the whole thing because
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. No doubt. I'd want to do, the more traditional stuff. See the Cadillac, the Cadillacs are dug into the ground.
Yep.
I want to see that Cadillac
Yep.
thing. Move my way into Southern California for sure. Lots of hot rod shops out there. So SoCal, Hot Rods, Hollywood Hot Rods. I'd want to go see up in Seaman Valley, like Pure Vision, Peterson Automotive Museum, kind of make my way through there. And I know there's great drives as well through there.
And Angel's Crest, something Angel and Crest. I forgot how the words go together, but that's like the El Primo Drive out of LA. It's where everybody goes to shoot car videos.
Okay.
That's where they all go. Yeah. It's a phenomenal.
We'd have to do that. And then make our way up to the PCH for sure. I'd like to follow that all the way up into Washington. Yeah, so I could think that would be, that could be 2 to 3 weeks. If you really do it right.
So I didn't think about the track stuff. I was thinking of...
I don't want to hit tracks all the way through.
Yeah, so I want to backtrack now.
Oh, now he's to take my idea. That's how he is.
I don't want to take it, but I want to modify it.
There you go.
Now that I've done the Ridge, a whole bunch... Spring Mountain, I've done 3, 4. We've done Charleston's. Well, you guys haven't. I did Charleston's Peak, and then the North Course, which is the Blackwing. I think they do the North Course, and then I think East and West is what they run for C8. So I've done both of those. So I've done 3 down there, ORP, Laguna Seca, and then we're doing PAR on Friday. I definitely want to hit other tracks. Like there's so many tracks around the U.S. COTA is one I would.
Yes.
I 100% think I want to trailer my car next year if we do an event there. I want to trailer the car down.
Wow.
And do it. I know it's a long haul, but man, that
turn 1 is so steep. I want to do it.
It is. I can't even imagine what that feels like coming down that straightaway. I don't know what speed you hit, but then as soon as you hit that bank, that probably just pushes you
Compresses
down.
you hard.
So I would COTA, Road Atlanta, but there's so many more tracks that, like the Ridge. Ridge is not a famous track, right? It's not like Laguna Seca.
No.
But neither is ORP. It's in the middle of nowhere. But those are phenomenal tracks. There are tracks just like that all across the U.S.
Randy Popes was at a Flying Husky Racing event, right? You know Randy Popes,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
And I was talking to him, and he said this. He said that the Ridge is one of his favorite tracks in the country.
Oh, really?
Yep. And he was there for. We were there doing track stuff. He was there for doing bike. It was his first bike track day, and and he said he said this is one of his favorite tracks in the country.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I mean, it is a fun track.
Great track.
But I 100% want to hit a lot more tracks. I've got plans. You know, I wanted to go to Utah a couple weeks ago, and then it didn't work out. And so I'm hoping to hit 2 more tracks in this winter, but down south, not up here, obviously, but down south. Man, I would love to do a road trip, and there's so many down in California. I mean, you got like Sonoma,
Willow,
Thunder here,
Willow,
Willow
Thunder Hill,
Springs,
Yep.
Chuckwalla.
Yep.
Man, there's so many.
Sonoma dragways.
I would love for us to go and do just a whole bunch of track events, because
It's something you got to plan out a year ahead of time.
you do
easily.
You got to definitely plan that out.
And you got to figure out, and you also have to be willing to change your plans on the fly, because you may have, I can get into this track day.
Yep.
We're going to this state instead.
Yep.
You kind of got to wing it a little bit. You leave some fudge room in there.
The cool thing about California, do a whole bunch of checkoffs down there, is that within probably like a 5-hour drive from like NorCal to SoCal, there's like 5 tracks or something. So, man, you can hit like 2 or 3 within a week, like just boom, boom, boom. So
You can bounce out of that state into Nevada, go to Vegas,
Yep.
do some stuff out there,
Yep.
bounce back into the state, 4 days later, and do a track day.
So what I was thinking for us is that we have the contact at Spring Mountain that has the private days. I was thinking, hey, if we start working on it, figure out a time where we can connect, go over to Nevada, do a private day there, but plan it so that we could hit maybe 2 other days, drive across the border, go to California, and we hit a couple of events there, and then we can make our time home. We need to coordinate that, with the contact and other track days, but that would be something fun. I mean, that would be a cool guys' weekend to go down, and
It would be a great day.
so
It'd be a lot of fun, yeah.
yeah, I would like to, man.
So for those of you listening, we would love for you to put some commentary and tell us, where would you go if you started someplace in the East Coast and had to go west, or if you're on the west and you want to go east, that's fine too. But where would you start and where would you end, and some of the things you would do in between?
Yeah,
Give us
what's
your
in the
ideas.
middle of the country that,
Yeah.
that we don't know about?
Maybe things we need to go do.
No, because we can look up stuff. Like example, I said, hey, I'd go to Missouri where I spent some time, but doing the Arch. Have you been to the Arch?
No,
I mean,
I've seen it and
the Arch is
when I
such
was
a
there.
cool place to go visit.
it's iconic.
To be able to go up, I forgot how tall, 600 feet, whatever. To go up in there is such a cool experience, because it's a weird thing. It's
In an elevator that kind of goes.
but it's not, you're in this like egg shaped, and it goes up, cockeyes aside, up, cockeye. So you're always going up. It's kind of weird. It's,
Yeah.
because it has to make
step.
it has to go, but it's like a step, right? It's a step. And then you get up top and it's just so cool. So there's lots of places that I'm sure across the Midwest that would be neat to go and visit, but I've never done a road trip. Like, I've driven across country 3 times, but it's point A to point B as quickly as I can get there, not to stop and see stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I've never ever done that. So that would be a lot of fun. I know that we're talking about doing something on the West Coast, but it would be cool to have different events where we're going on drives or hitting tracks or hitting sites. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Oh, something to think about.
Yeah, well, we got to do it before we get old, man.
That's right.
I don't want to be in a Winnebago,
No.
trying to drive around that runs off the road and
No,
catches
clearly
on fire.
not.
I don't want to do that.
There's a reference. Go listen to the previous episode. That's all I had for you, man.
Okay, one last thing before
Yeah.
we go. We want to ask people to. I don't want to be one of those guys on YouTube where they say,
Oh, you're gonna
what do they
say?
say?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, right?
Like and
Thumbs up,
subscribe.
like, subscribe, whatever.
Yeah.
But we would like feedback.
Yep.
One, and give us a rating on wherever you listen. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you listen. Give us a rating. Love to have some feedback. That'd be really cool. It's cool to see the numbers are kind of steady, but cool to see that increase, and it helps when you get ratings and feedback. So, sounds good. Till next time, Gene.
Till next time.
Later, man.
Peace.